through the entire history of our company, every single boat has been different. It's had its own signature. It's had its own challenges. It's taught us something. I mean, no boat we ever built didn't make us better. When you meet someone, you just never know what kind of influence they may have in your life. I met Jack Huddle on the docks at Calico Jack's Marina in Harkers Island. From that day on, Jack and I were friends around the docks, but the day Jack walked in the shop, I just didn't have any idea how it was going to change the trajectory of our company. He said, I think I'd like to figure out how to get one of these boats. And he handed me a little drawing of a 43-foot layout that he had done and said, this is kind of what I want to try to do. So Mr. Huddle, I'll work for $12 an hour and 10% on materials. He said, good enough, son. And he stuck his hand out and we shook hands. He wanted something much different we'd been building. We'd been building charter boats, fairly plain boats, and he challenged us. He challenged us to build a better boat. Many said at that time the nicest boat that ever been built in Carteret County. That first boat was our 5th boat, and he named her Builder's Choice. I can't imagine anything more appropriate for him. As we neared the completion of the Builder's Choice, Jim Luxton and I were painting the cabin. I'll never forget that day. And I'm telling you, it was a challenge to paint cabins in old tin shed. Just as we finished, a thunderstorm came, and it leaked and ruined that paint job. Well, as you might imagine, Mr. Huddle was not at all happy about that because he was paying cost plus, so we had to repaint it on his dime. He said, son, you can't stay in Williston. This is just not good enough. And I said, well, Mr. Huddle, I don't have any choice. It's all we can do to pay the rent here. He said, I'll tell you what, you go find a piece of land. You tell me how big a building you want, and we'll build a brand new building. You can relocate there and you pay me rent, however you're paying here until you get on your feet. I don't think a thunderstorm could have ever come at a better time. We did find a piece of property in Marshallburg, and Jack did build the building. Before long, we'd grown to 2 buildings and 3 or 4 acres of land and a repair facility. I'll never forget the day that Jack walked in the building and said, son, I need you to buy this place. And I said, Mr. Huddle, nothing has changed since the days we were in Williston. We can't afford to buy it. And he said, I tell you what, here's the terms I'm going to lay out, and you take this to your bank, and I promise you they'll help you with the money. And they did. So far, we've delivered 4 boats to the Huddles and have a 5th one under construction. This family is interwoven into our very fabric, including making all the improvements and building most of the buildings in the Marine Industrial Park we're in today. This family's about much more than building boats and building buildings. It's about giving us the confidence as leaders. It's about doing all of those projects on nothing but a handshake. This family is what North Carolinians are all about. They're about family, they're about community, they're about helping others succeed. And every time we ever were a bit down, Mr. Huddle has reached his hand down and pulled us forward. Thanks for being with us today. I hope you enjoyed these stories from the past. We have a lot more to talk about from the first 35 years of Jarrett Bay's history, so stay tuned and we'll see you next time.